One thing that I wanted to talk about for a while now is the retro tracks returning in Mario Kart World. There's a total of 14 of them that will be returning from past games, and I kind of wanted to go over them and talk about if I like what they did with the changes, and if I even like the fact that they chose this retro track in the first place, and kind of look at, are these retro tracks even good? And did they even get enough change to be called good in Mario Kart World? But yes, we have 14 tracks to go over. I'll be comparing them to the original versions, and yes, I'll be using demo gameplay provided from various different people that's been able to play this game already. So we have footage of almost every single track in the game so far, so we should be able to directly compare these pretty well. And as I say that, the very first track we have is one with no footage, but we do have pictures from Nintendo. We really haven't seen anything from the demos or anything about this track, but like I said, these pictures do show us exactly what we're going to get, or what it looks like we're going to get. But yes, this is Koopa Beach from the SNES. Now, both Koopa Beach 1 and 2 were very simplistic tracks, and definitely not one of my favorites, and not something that I would have chosen to return in Mario Kart World unless they really changed it up. The only thing it looks like they actually did was add a giant piece of the island that stretches very high in the middle, but you're just driving around this island in a circle, and it looks like that's exactly what we're doing once again. This track is incredibly tiny looking. I mean, honestly, I can't believe that this is an entire racetrack in this game out of the 30 that we know of. I like the theming, how it's kind of like a Koopa Troopa DJ party on the beach now, and there's a couple things added like an overpass where the island goes above the sand and beach area. That's pretty cool and all, but still, outside of the theming, you can only make a circle so interesting, and this looks very, very bland. It looks like more of the interesting stuff is up on that island. That's probably part of the free roam stuff, but not the actual races. But what's interesting is it seems like there's a second Koopa Beach track, one of the two from the SNES maybe, that's also in the background that's not fenced into the current one. That could just be part of an intermission track to get here, or maybe it's just, you know, a free roam thing over there. But it's really weird to me that that wouldn't be a part of the track as well, like they were doing with Mario Circuit, putting all 3 Mario Circuits, not the 4th one though. Yes, you guys informed me that there was a 4th one, I just kept forgetting. But yeah, 3 Mario Circuits into one track. Instead, it just seems like it's one Koopa Beach into one track, which, yeah, I just don't know how I feel about this. This looks shorter than Baby Park Circles. I mean, okay, maybe not that short, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. Just not that interesting at all. Next up, we have Dino Jungle, and this looks so good. I love everything that they've done with this, and I know some people might not like the natural feeling it used to have, where now it's more like Jurassic Park, where it's a giant kind of theme park that's holding these dinosaurs in this facility. There's lots of metal scaffolding and pieces everywhere, which does give it kind of an industrial feel this time around. But I really do like this a lot. It changes this, like almost like a giant zoo that we're racing through, and I love the designs. Like the new designs for the dinosaurs really match that of the Mario universe and feel like they actually have always been in the Mario universe, and I love every single one so much. The T-Rex looks way better than the one in Odyssey. I'm sorry, that realistic thing was cool, but this is how a T-Rex should look in the Mario universe. But I love everything here. It looks like they kept the same paths. It's just, like I said, a lot more industrialized this time around. There's a lot more dinosaurs roaming around on the map. There's even some that looks like you can grind rail on in between paths. There's even an upper section inside the building that you can wall ride on, and even a T-Rex that runs through. So like, yeah, there is a lot of love poured out into this one, adding more dinosaurs, kind of giving it more of a Jurassic Park theme, and I love everything about this track. This is one of my most anticipated tracks in the entire game right now. And of course, this was due to come back as it completely missed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Pass DLC. Now, I do recognize I could probably be a minority on this part, but I'm not a fan of Peach Beach, and I never really was. It wasn't anything super interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know. And I just felt like it was a weird track to bring back in Mario Kart World, especially with nothing really crazy added to it. Now, there's some theories suggesting that we could go up into a new castle section added to the track. We don't know about that yet, but from what I've seen so far, it looks like Peach Beach with some changes, obviously. But overall, yeah, I don't know why this one's brought back. I'm not a big fan of really any of the water-themed or beach-themed tracks from Mario Kart. They never really offer anything super interesting, so I think something that would have been really cool is if maybe Peach had like a water park out in the water area or something that you could, you know, bounce off of inflatables and stuff in the water. But it just seems very basic. Once again, just driving around the coast of the beach and then back up towards the castle area. I really hope that those theories are correct, that we are driving in the castle area as well for an alternate route of Peach Beach, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. This is one that just blew my mind when I think back of tracks like Luigi's Mansion that could have been here, but instead, we got Desert Hills from the DS returning. This was a track that I don't think anyone liked. I mean, I genuinely think that 90% of the Mario Kart fan base does not like Desert Hills. Now, they did add the Toko Toko enemies from Mario Land, which we haven't seen since then, instead of the Pokies on the track, which is actually a cool addition, kind of giving it that Sarasa Land vibe, and we see a lot of that in the whole desert region. But overall, I mean, it's just so bland. Like, there's really nothing else added to this track. I can't believe that's all this track is. I mean, I didn't see really any wall riding opportunities, any rail opportunities, any ramping opportunities. It just seems like it is a very bland track that doesn't even mesh well with the new mechanics of Mario Kart World. I'm not sure what they were thinking here. Guy Bazaar was never one of my favorite tracks coming back from Mario Kart 7. I definitely would have rather had one of the Woohoo Islands, but I can see how that would be very difficult to add on a world like Mario Kart Worlds. But honestly, I'm very excited for this track, and what they've done with it is just really pretty. I mean, it's just filled with festival colors and flowers everywhere, and it's obviously themed around a castle or palace that they gave for Daisy, once again kind of just making this whole area themed after Sarasa Land, which I really do love. And like I said, it just looks beautifully well done. And from the demo gameplay, it looks like it pretty much is a one-to-one recreation of that from the 3DS, just touched up and made to look even more beautiful with tons of different animals like elephants and stuff walking around with Shy Guys riding them. I mean, it just looks perfect. I really don't have any complaints about this track and for what I've seen so far. Another one that took me by surprise is Choco Mountain. I thought to myself, okay, we just had this in the booster pass. Why is this one returning so soon? It wasn't even anything super special, but what they were able to do to it makes me very excited. They pretty much transformed this track into this like arena for Charge and Chucks. I mean, there's mud balls flinging everywhere. There's Charge and Chucks running back and forth, even kicking footballs onto the course itself. I mean, seriously, what they've done with this really just ramped up the feeling. It's kind of like this monster truck mosh pit type of thing, and I'm here for it. It almost feels like this game's version of Wario Stadium, even though Wario Stadium is in the game. I'm not a big fan of what they did with it. We'll talk about that in a second. But yes, what they did with Choco Mountain, I know it took away kind of some of the Lonely Mountain vibes, but I love this. I love the screens everywhere, the giant jumbotrons and faucets shooting mud all over the track. I mean, seriously, it's really well done. I'm excited for this one. Now, Wario Stadium from Mario Kart 64 was kind of all over the place. It had tons of wacky twists and turns. I mean, seriously, just look at this map. I mean, it's just crazy. Now, they did make the map a lot simpler in the Mario Kart World version. You're not going back on a path that you already traveled down all over the place and stuff. It's more just like, you know, a regular square. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this one. It seems like it's just like tons of ramps, which is Wario Stadium, but it looks like there's a lot of opportunity for little wall riding opportunities and stuff that I've noticed, and rails kind of hidden on the top of the walls. And there's just a lot more going on than what meets the eye, because I feel like we're just watching this and it looks pretty basic. Just lots of ramps and stuff. It's a basic Wario Stadium, but there's a lot of walls and side walls and stuff that looks like it's going to tie into the gameplay a lot, and it's going to have a lot of meta tied to it. But once again, it's hard to tell. This is just early demo gameplay that we're watching, so we're just gonna have to wait and see exactly how intense this track is going to actually turn out to be. We then move over to Wario Shipyard, which is coming back from Mario Kart 7, and this is also not so much changed at all. I mean, it's literally the same exact track, but just with a bunch of new great quality of life changes. For instance, the roof is now broken open and you can see the stormy night with the rain just pouring into you, and you also have this new cave section where you're actually driving on top of the water instead of underneath, which I like a lot better. I like this feeling of you actually driving almost like a jet ski and bouncing on the waves and tricking instead of just driving underwater, which never really felt like anything special to me. But I love this new addition, and it just makes this track feel even more exciting and more like a kind of stormy night at sea, and you're in this shipwrecked area. It really is really well themed, and I am excited for this one for sure. I think it's a great return, especially since it missed Mario Kart 8. When I first saw that Sky High Sundae was coming back, I was very upset. I'm like, why? We just had it in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Why does this need to come back? It's nothing that special. It's just kind of one big oval, and it was pretty boring in a track that not a lot of people wanted to pick. But I will say it looks like I might be eating my words, because even though it added just a couple of changes, these couple of changes looks pretty exciting to me. I love the new addition of the fact that you can ride on the side wall when you wrap around the bend, and now there's more branching paths and even extra paths with rails and stuff that you can take. It looks like this track is definitely getting an improvement, and sometimes a really basic track can be good if it's done right. And I feel like they just turned a basic track into a more interesting one than ever before. And like, I know it was colorful before, but it was kind of just like a colorful ugly, if you know what I mean, and that might just be the graphics from Mario Kart Tour coming over, but dude, these graphics and these details on this world look so great. I mean, it's beautiful colorful this time around. It's just so saturated, and you can just see all the ice cream and just the different gradients of color that just slides down each popsicle and each mountain and hill. It just looks so much better. DK Pass is another one of the tracks that didn't make a return in Mario Kart 8, and probably considering the fact that we had DK Mountain and also DK Summit, so seeing DK Pass almost feel like DK Summit here, and it looks great. I really don't have too many complaints. It's still pretty much the exact same layout and just as difficult as the original. As you can see, even the Nintendo Treehouse employees had problems running into the wall and falling off the track on that first turn, which is pretty tight. But yeah, I love this. It looks like this track still is going to hold that difficulty and really make you have to race really well. There's lots of little alternate paths and rails for you to grind on, and it ends with a big ramp that kind of reminds me once again of kind of the crowd roaring at the end of DK Summit and the snowboarding Shy Guys. I also just like the vibe of the log cabins kind of spread out all over the area, and I really don't have much of a complaint at all. This is definitely DK Pass at its core, and I'm glad that it's back. Fan favorite Toad's Factory is back. We can relax even though it didn't make the cut in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'd much rather have it here in this game. And same with another track, which we'll get to in a second. But yes, Toad's Factory is coming back from Mario Kart Wii, and it's pretty much a one-to-one recreation. Now, they did change some things. Once again, there's lots of wall riding and even rail sections that looks like there's a lot that they're hiding. For instance, a couple cranes at the very end of the track that you can grind on, which looks really cool. But this is definitely Toad's Factory the way we remembered it. Unfortunately, there's a couple things taken out, like on the conveyor sections that are moving horizontally. There's no more wooden crates that you can run into, which made that section pretty difficult. Instead, it's just item boxes, which I'm a little sour on that because I like that extra ramp of difficulty. And also, they took down the sign of Toad, so I mean, like, now it's just factory. So it's really weird. Like, why didn't they leave at least the picture of Toad, which would have just made sense? It's just kind of like a blank wall up above the factory. Not a big deal, but just a little thing I noticed. But still, very happy that Toad's Factory is back and returning. It's definitely a track that should be here. I am definitely so glad that Airship Fortress is back. Definitely one of my favorite tracks in the entire series. And the best part about this track is almost untouched in Mario Kart World. Of course, just with lots of more detail, but from every turn, from every part of the ship, it is exactly the same as we remembered it. The only thing it really seems like that they added this time around, besides like some grind rails and probably some walls that you can jump off of, is the atmosphere. It's raining. You can see Bowser's castle and this giant volcano off in the background. You can see the dark, thunderous clouds and a battle going on with ships blasting into each other and explosions in the air, especially as you glide over to the tower. I mean, seriously, they put so much effort into this track while not messing up what made this track so good in the first place. I love that. This is literally one of my most anticipated tracks in the game, obviously, and I am so happy with what Nintendo was able to pull off here. Mario Circuit again? Look, I understand it. I know a lot of people are probably upset about this one, but you always gotta have kind of a retro track, like a retro track like this. And I feel like Mario Circuit's always been that track to do so, whether it's Mario Circuit 3, 1, or 2. This time you get 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, no 4 in this one. But still, getting 3 Mario Circuits into one track where each lap is a different circuit is literally brilliant. And from what I've heard from some people, it seems like we'll have the option to actually just race on one of these 3 circuits and we get to choose, which sounds even better. I love this, and you always gotta have, like I said, one of these classic tracks where you just use your boost items like mushrooms to get between bricks and and pipes and just different cuts in the path, and it just really shows who's the best racer. Lots of quick, sharp turns, and I absolutely love this. So believe it or not, I'm actually very excited for this track, and it's probably one of my most anticipated ones just because there's so many tracks built into one, and it gives you that classic feeling in a brand new Mario Kart game. And the final one, which I just don't understand why it's back again, is Mumu Meadows. Now, I'm really hoping that they change this up some, and it's not the same exact Mumu Meadows because it's really going to feel a lot like the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version. It even looks a lot like it in this scene. Now, we can see kind of a barn section in the middle with a statue of the cow riding the motorcycle. So I'm hoping this isn't just a free roam area and it's actually integrated as part of the track, but probably not. We'll probably just wrap around this area all the time, and I just don't like this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Mumu Meadows is becoming like the new, guaranteed track to have in every Mario Kart game, but I'm tired of this place. I definitely want to move on away from it. So I'm really hoping they just shake this up enough so it's not just a basic, circle around the farm this time around, because yeah, it never was that great. But looking at what we see already, I'm probably excited for more than half of all of those retro tracks, which is pretty good. Also considering the fact that we haven't seen full gameplay of some of those, and we don't know if some of them will have alternate versions like some other tracks in the game does, like Peach Stadium and Crown City. So we're just gonna have to wait and see, because there's theories out there that even think that Peach Stadium's going to have alternate routes. But real quick, before we wrap up, I do want to talk about what other tracks that I thought maybe should have been in this game instead of some of the ones that were included. Now, I'm not going to go over every single track that should have been included in this video. That might be for another one. But the fact that there's no Super Circuit tracks making a return, especially after they remade ones like Cheese Land, Ribbon Road, and they easily became some of my favorites of Mario Kart 8, it kind of stinks that they didn't do any more. Like, I would have loved to see Lakeside Park this time, and it could have been in the same region as Dino Jungle. I think Mushroom Bridge from Double Dash definitely should have made a return. It's kind of sad that we haven't seen it in both games, as this one was one of my favorites. And in fact, we have a giant bridge that crosses water in Mario Kart World, but it's not Mushroom Bridge. And something similar to Wario's Coliseum from Double Dash would have been better than the Nintendo 64 Wario Stadium that we had. This one's actually like a giant circus coliseum where it would have felt like it was perfect for this game, where we're doing flips off of walls and rail grinds and wall jumps. It'd have been like a big acrobatic track with tons of ramps and stuff. It would have felt perfect for a game like Mario Kart World, and I'm just kind of upset that it didn't make a return. I still really wish Luigi's Mansion made a return, but I get why maybe this and Al Delfino didn't, because it's all part of this interconnected map, and then it would technically be lore that, hey, Luigi's Mansion is actually part of this Mario Kart World. So yeah, maybe I get why, but still it stinks that we'll probably not see this anytime soon. I know we just got Coconut Mall back as the first wave of DLC for the Booster Pass, but still I would have loved to see it return, maybe in the place of Crown City. Just in the middle of the city, there's this giant new version of Coconut Mall, and they could have fleshed it out even a lot more and had us like jump into the rooftops of the surrounding buildings. I thought that would have been really cool. I also felt like seeing DK Summit make a return would have made sense as well, considering the fact that there's a whole ski resort with even ski lifts and snowboarding Shy Guys as well on Mario Kart World's map. So it kind of feels very strange that this track is in there. This is one that I will literally scream from the rooftops, because Dry Summit from Mario Kart Wii should have been the desert track added here. How in the world did Desert Hills beat this one out? This one also did not make it into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It has a tour version that released on mobile. This one is just one of the better desert tracks that we've ever gotten. Like, you can go inside of a tomb, there's lots of wall flips, which we see does make a return in Mario Kart World. Why didn't this return? Nintendo, why? I also really would have loved to see the Sunshine Airport make a return, especially like right beside Crown City, just like a little airport area, and maybe tweak this track up a little bit, make it a little bit more exciting, add some more planes and stuff, and more planes flying across as you're flying through the sky. Would have been a great addition. Shoot, the Cheese Land remake from Mario Kart 8 is my favorite desert track ever, so I would have loved to see this one make a return as well, compared to Desert Hills. I'm sorry, I'm going to hate on Desert Hills probably until the game is like 10 years old. And Super Bell's Subway is another one that would have worked really well with Crown City, just being kind of an underground track that's underneath the city. But overall, even though there's some hits and some misses for sure, I'm pretty happy with the tracks that they brought back overall. There's just, like I said, some that just doesn't make sense to me, but let me know in the comments down below what you think of the retro tracks in Mario Kart World. Do you like them? Are you excited to try them all out? Or are there some that you definitely do not like? I'm looking at you, Desert Hills. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and I hope you all have a blessed day. See ya, guys.